we will end up supplying a lot of biomass to the three burning power stations who have been set co-firing targets, which would need about 1 million tonnes of biomass to meet, or something less than 1 million. Edenderry, Lanesborough and Shannon Bridge, and as I say, right in the middle of that area I was showing earlier on, where I think there's a potential for producing perennial energy crops. Come on to what can we get from our forests. That's been our rate of planting over the last number of years, and you can see that, especially in recent times, hugely variable, and that trend is continuing. I think it's picked up this year, but it's still very, very variable. So trying to predict what will the size of the resource be for the future with that sort of background is damn difficult. I wasn't able to acknowledge the source of this work because I couldn't find it last night in a hurry, but he was looking at how much energy would be produced assuming different rates of planting were achieved. And we, in most years we're in the sort of 5,000 to 10,000 hectare planting. We had 1 or 2 years where we were something around 20,000. In the projections I've been making, I took about a mid position there, assuming about 10,000 hectares were planted each year, and that gave me a figure that I brought on into the final calculation of how much energy we might produce. The energy crops that we could be thinking of planting, the two main ones so far have been miscanthus and willows. There's 3,000 hectares of those that have been planted in the country. Still very small, but at least it's been enough to allow us to learn how the crops grow and how to look after them and so on. Hemp I had put in because Ali Tom, its main proponent, is in the middle of the audience and he listened to me. Reed Clare Gas, another one with some possibility in certain circumstances. I had a look at miscanthus, which is the one that has been making most of the running. Suppose we planted, the best we've achieved so far in planting areas is 1,000 hectares this year. If we continue to do that, we could possibly by 2020 produce something over 100,000 tonnes of crop per year. And by 2040 we could be up to 300,000 or 400,000 tonnes. I think that's probably the best we can hope for. And again, that's I've taken in my projections. I've taken the 1,000 hectares per year as being something that we might possibly achieve. And all that is led me to that table, which gives the current production of energy from biomass at 2.7 terawatt hours. See, I forgot to put in the terawatt hours, the units, but it is terawatt hours anyhow. By 2020, I don't think we'll have made dramatic. I think maybe 8 terawatt hours, maybe double that again by 2040. I may be being a bit pessimistic, I'm not sure. I mean, we're in a territory where everything is dictated by government policy. And I don't know what those policies are going to be. So far, they've been a bit sort of disjointed. We don't seem to have the ability to plan, take the whole cycle from feedstock production right through to the marketplace and to the end use, and see what we need to do at each step of the way to get the show on the road. We tend to stick in grants, like give the producer a grant to grow the crop, but then there's no market, or in the case of, when it started off, grants for stoves and boilers, but then there was no pellets to heat. And of course then we got to the other extreme where there was far more pellets being produced than there was demand. We don't seem to be able to get the whole act together and bring it along in an orderly fashion. And until we achieve that, I think our progress is going to be pretty disjointed. And that's really as far as I want to go. Just one thought about there. I meant to say, Larry, you had a study there in your talk. You mentioned biomass potential of bioenergy of 360 terawatt hours, and I'm talking 180. I think that the difference probably is that in that study you referred to, they were probably including the municipal waste, sewage sludge, industrial sludges, which I didn't include. I didn't include them because I didn't feel competent to. But it is a very interesting area because Mark Rutledge was talking this morning about what are we going to do with the organic waste that's not going into our landfills? Where's that going to go? And what options are open to it? Well, incineration, you would probably like that one, Duncan, would be one possibility. And the other one would be digestible, would be a much more benign process of getting the energy out of it, but you then have a whole lot of digestate to dispose of. The obvious place to put it would be on agricultural land, but food producing farmers are not one bit enthused about the idea of spreading that sort of material on their land, and in fact a lot of their quality assurance schemes don't allow them to do it. So the obvious place to put it is to grow some energy crops which are outside the food chain and spread the digestate on those. And so I mean the whole concept of growing around each, say, sewage treatment plant in the country or municipal waste disposal or whatever way, that you would grow an appropriate acreage of energy crops near to the plant so that the transport isn't to get to a moment, spread the digestate on those crops, use those crops then in a local waste or in a local boilers or CHP plant or whatever. Wouldn't that make a huge amount of sense? It solve 3 or 4 problems at the same time. It would of course make a huge contribution on the greenhouse gas fund. It would get rid of a very awkward waste disposal problem that we seem to have no solution to at the moment. And it would give farmers the opportunity to get into the production of energy crops. So you want a headline, David, for what came out of the meeting? I think that would be my number one suggestion.